In recent days in St. Louis, a member of the Darren Wilson grand jury has sued St. Louis County prosecuting attorney for the right to publicly expose what really happened in that grand jury room.
So there's an immediate breakdown, even in the trust under the grand jury, but of this system that you're in right now. Not thinking that policy can work, that policy is only shaping them. And we know that either you shape policy, Tanya, or policy will shape you.
To our panel now. Again, we're joined by Reverend Yearward from the Hip Hop Caucus. We're joined by Tanya Clay House, the Lewis Committee on Civil Rights.
Oakland and in Charlotte and in Orlando and almost every single major city in this country, unfortunately, this issue has come up. So this is not an East Coast or a West Coast issue. It is a national issue. I'm glad you led with the aspect of demonstration without legislation leads to frustration. And the reason why I'm so happy and I'm so grateful for partnering with Representative Hank Johnson in his office, who've done a great job of this process. So with that, the reason why I'm here today is really to speak to you in this aspect. It is clear, as you have heard, that there's a need for a grand jury reform act. I would hope that every progressive member of Congress is signed on to that legislation. That is clear. It should be an easy no-win. A private meeting with activists who actually had a closed door and they had a private meeting and we didn't know where the meeting was going to be until the time for the meeting. They really wanted to make sure we could have that conversation. And the one thing that came up, and I said, the quote that that I always say, demonstration without legislation leads to frustration. Understand that we've had so much demonstration and we've been laying down the street. Some of you, many of you, it was phenomenal to see, particularly members of Congress staff walking to the Capitol Hill steps and holding up their hands. You don't know how much that meant to people in the communities. It was one thing to see the Howard students with their hands up. It was one thing to see Brown Blaze and Templo and somebody in Ferguson with their hands up. Somebody to see the Eric Garner's children with their hands up. But then to see you who are here in the halls of Congress, leaving your jobs and leaving your offices, black and white and brown and yellow, male and female, straight and gay, leaving your offices, going out there and putting your hands up, let the world know that there needs to be something done about this issue.
This is why it's extremely important for people to actually understand the process and the intent behind the grand jury, because again, as I said, it's never intended to be a jury situation. So we didn't get cross-examination of Officer Darren Wilson. We didn't get a cross-examination of the witnesses that were presented during the grand jury, because it's not intended for that. And so the problem is that many feel, and many, because they're not informed about the actual intent and the purpose of the grand jury, people think that, oh, the grand jury provided a no bill, so therefore there is no verdict. No, there is never a consideration of whether or not there actually is a verdict. This is only about whether or not they're going to indict. A grand jury can be convened again in St. Louis and in Ferguson. There is that ability to do so. There's also an ability to have a special prosecutor. So there are other ways in which we also can discuss reformation of this entire process.
You keep in mind, as you talk about Michael Brown, he's talking about a case in which what I thought was one of the key witnesses was the young man that was with him. He was not brought in to speak to the grand jury.
That we keep the incidents that occurred in Ferguson, Missouri, in my district, in the forefront, as well as those other incidents that occur all around this nation on a daily basis. An ethics complaint has been filed against prosecutor Bob McCullough by a group of reputable attorneys in St. Louis who have said that it alleges 15 counts of misconduct, including knowingly allowing false testimony, delivering outdated and unconstitutional instructions to the grand jury. And I mean, it's obvious what happened in this instance. You had a prosecutor that decided to defend a police officer. He wasn't searching for the truth, and he wasn't trying to deliver justice to Michael Brown's family or that community. And it's time we expose that.